starting already to turn into such a dense thing. We even have one over in Honolulu, by the way. You can't actually see it in this view, but there's an organization out there in Honolulu. So love you, Honolulu. Thank you for being on there. So anyway.
Yeah, so I think we can move on then to, or maybe we can show one more development path, and then we can move on to Ben and Colin kind of talking.
Try the Seven Devils. Try the
Yes.
Neighborhood 3. Could you find that? Okay, so here's Seven Devils. Jenny, who stood up in front of Rocco and said, "Hey, I'm out in Idaho and I do things." It was very hard for Rocco to believe it, but when you actually go there, Rocco, when you go there, on the map, you don't actually have to get on a plane. When you go there, you can see that they do things out there in Idaho and that those things actually resonate around the country. If you find...
Jenny, which one should I click on?
Neighborhood 3.
It's gone other places. Yeah.
Which one?
Is it not there? It must be...
I think it's Android, so it'll say N-E-I, so like N-E-I-G.
Oh, yeah. Like June 11th there.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay. So see, number 1, it started out there in at Seven Devils, and here's a list of all of the events. And so far, that's only a handful of the productions. I don't know how many productions that play has had at this point. And there are also interim developmental stops that nobody's bothered to put there. If you were involved with Neighborhood 3, you should put yourself in there, because otherwise it looks like Jenny did it all herself. But Humana's on there as a stop for the play, and like that. So all we're trying to do is make it visible the way we're already working together. This isn't changing anything. It's just trying to make it clear to us. Somebody was talking at the earlier table about visibility. Well, this was an effort to try to do that. And we'll talk later about what else would be helpful to get it to do.
So
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah. So I just want to say,
Colin and Ben.
Yeah, so my name's Colin, and so one thing important about this is really a data platform that we've been building that's going to start collecting these things that you all are working on, and that this is really just one example of how we can display this. So after this presentation, we're going to all be talking out in the window area again, and getting ideas about other ways that you would like to see this data being presented. So we've got some nice little coloring book things we're going to be doing, getting people to draw some ideas, to think about other examples. So just one example would be this is very play-centric version of how the plays move around. But another example could be looking at organizations and how the plays move through the organizations. You really want to know, here's these like 10 plays that the organization produced, and what other organizations did it go out and to go to next.
So you'd see the organization and all of its relationships around the country.
Right.
And that really, like, the more interesting and rich visualizations that we want to do and that you want to see, what we really need is rich data. And I think that having people go on there, like David was saying, and insert themselves into a play journey that they know they were a part of, the more and more interesting things we can explore and work on.
Totally.
It's really running off of you enter the event itself. So there's not a whole lot of data entry once you've got your organization and your playwright loaded in there once. Everything else is, we're doing a what? Reading, workshop, residency, commission of, a production of, pick the play, pick the theater, put the dates in, and every time you do that, it adds you to this thing. You don't have to keep identifying anything other than what event, what's the play, what are the dates.
Yeah, and I know we're running behind, so I want to make sure there's time for other panelists and Q&A. But I just want to mention really quickly that one last thing that we don't need to show right now, but something that we're going to be continuing to develop over the next several months, especially as the field becomes more comfortable with new technologies and doing video and tweeting and all those things, is already the map allows you to put in feeds of your blog, your Twitter account, your organizational YouTube account, and so we'll be able to start to actually build media into the map as well. So it'll be a way of going and looking at a play and seeing all of the YouTube videos that you know, across its development journey that play has associated with it. So you can start to not only get a sense of the relationships between organizations and plays, but also the sort of dialogue along that journey that happens. And I think that that's when it's going to be really interesting to me personally. So
And to move it from being this more static version of what's happened with these plays and with these organizations to be sort of a real-time flow of information about what's actually going on out there right now.
right.
So I think we can put on to another very related project, which is the New Play TV. And I'll pull up that site.
New Play TV is what we're streaming this on. How many people have seen anything streamed over that at this point? Some of you? Yeah. It's growing. It's really growing. And thank you all out there who are watching it. Thank you all out there who are watching it. Oh, they're watching us.
Okay,
watching
so
Bad recursion. Bad recursion.
so
Oh, no, that'll go on forever. Stop laughing at yourselves laughing.
So there have been a ton of organizations that have used this so far, and I guess to explain it in a nutshell what this is, it's live television, but why it's different is that it's interactive. So you just see Allie, are you here? Yeah. Yeah. So she just tweeted, and she's probably reacting to David's face right there, or she could if she wanted to. And so that's something that we've been just experimenting, playing with the idea that we can share, as a field, we can share to each other. And this is based on kind of a community access television programming where you self-produce, and this platform is available for anyone to show anything they want to do. And so, I mean, for us, we've been using it, the Institute using it for these conferences. Other organizations have been streaming workshops and conferences and readings. We showed Outrageous Fortune when Todd London was here at Woolly Mammoth. NNPN, has NNPN done something? No, NET, and actually tonight, 8 o'clock, NET from Philadelphia, the Microfest, they'll be streaming, and they'll be streaming a couple more things from their Microfest this weekend.
We streamed from the NPN conference, and they were one of the performers. Their family had never gotten to see them perform because they can't travel to where he performs, and so they finally got to see him perform, which is fun.
And then the Rude Mex did a huge, long workshop at UT for about a week, which was really great. And then Susan Laurie Parks has been doing this performance piece for a very long time now. And it's pretty, I think it's really interesting that just the fact that the people on stage can be interacting with people who are watching online, and there can be, in that perverse way, some kind of dialogue. And also, I think, you know, eventually when it becomes very difficult to pay for people to come to conferences, this may be a way to help solve that problem. How many people are watching this right now? About 65 plus there may be some watch
And it's
parties.
Friday afternoon.
Yeah, there may be some watch parties, so that 65 number may actually be higher than actually 65 people. Orlando, okay.
Yeah.
Can someone tweet from Orlando right now?
If you're watching, wherever you're watching from, tweet. One of the things that we're learning, and this is also version. One of the things that we're learning, again, we're early development of this stuff. I feel like we're doing a telethon. Thank you, Morgan.
Okay.
But if you act now, you can also see the Temptations. one of the things that we're learning here is that it actually takes a bit for organizations on the other end who are streaming the content to figure out what it is that needs to be done. And we've had these great producers over here. Molly, can you guys wave, or are you guys busy? But you've seen them all weekend. Talk to them about it. They've been in New York helping people produce content. But I think we need, and we sent Travis out to the NPN conference, I think we are going to need to be able to provide, at least for the early going, somebody who can go to places that are going to be streaming things and help train that, break down the mystery of how to do this effectively. So that's something we already know we're trying to figure out.
Yeah, so we should move on to David Lohr from 2AMT.
Thank you very much. I'm going to walk around because I've been sitting a lot. I don't know if any of you have been sitting. Well, anyway. Also, it kind of works off the energy because 2AMT is energy. It's ideas. It's conversation. Your convening books kind of have the story of where it came from and how it started. So I won't go into that, and I'll talk really fast because it's 12 minutes to 2. Anyway, it's a conversation that started on Twitter, grew into a blog, grew into collaboration and connections and networks, and it's growing and growing and growing. And again, it just started as the simplest kind of thing. It's like, you know, we talk about everyone being in the room here. 2AMT is this room that's everywhere. It's a convening that doesn't end. It's the mingling in between the sessions, right?
Your nightmare.
It's been compared to drinking Red Bull using pixie sticks for straws. I mean, it's very exciting. It can burn you out real fast too. But it's led to commissions of new plays from playwrights that they just discovered someone on Twitter saying, hey, I like what you're saying, and we want to write a play about social media, and you seem to know this, so want to do it? You go, okay. It's led to, we're putting together audio dramas where one actor is in Vancouver, and one is in London, and one is in Australia, and one is in Austin, Texas. And we put it all together on the internet because we can. It's there. And all of the tools we're using are free. We're doing rehearsals where someone is Skyping in to watch. You know, the playwright can't fly out for every rehearsal, so they're watching on Skype, online, just because you can. We've been starting a reading series through New Play TV with theaters from around the country and around the world who have signed up who want to do this. And who's the audience for that? You are, because here's new plays slowly being developed, people you may never have heard of, but maybe you find something, maybe you don't. I don't know, but give it a try. I'm trying to think of all the other things. I mean, what's out there now on Twitter and on our website is just the tip of the iceberg. We've developed ideas that come out of the conversations. Like, we have a storytelling concept that any theater can do. I mean, people talk about one-size-fits-all ideas.
Can we put it up? Are we able to put up 2AMT, the site?
Yeah, there are a few slides that I think are in that queue.
And 2AMT, David, is what? 2AMT, what does that even mean?
It stands for 2AM Theater. The very short version of the beginning is, it was a conversation on Twitter one night that we were going to stop at 1 in the morning. I got off the computer at 6 in the morning. People just kept joining in. And so the next morning, the theater editor for Time Out Chicago logged into his computer, saw like 1,000 messages, and he tweets, damn it, I missed the great 2AM Theater Summit. Boom, there it is. So it became a blog. Sometimes we distill the conversation and put it up there. Sometimes we make a post to spark conversation, like Travis Bedard there from Austin, Texas, reacting to Rocco Landesman. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, it's just exciting stuff. Find me afterwards, and I'll tell you more, because there's so much more. But yeah, it's 8 minutes to go. So
this conversation, 2AMT is organized on Twitter under the hashtag 2AMT.